Hello, my name is Glynn Washington. I'm the host of Snap Judgment, heard on NPR stations around the country. This is my dear friend Alex Mandel, who is a composer behind movies like Brave. The new movie East Side Sushi just came out. He did that one too. Go see it. Now, we've been listening to a lot of different people and amazing speakers. They've been speaking about, actually, it seems to me, about how they have recently, more than maybe in the past, been stuck. Stuck between not being able to reach across a table or an aisle. And I wanted to tell a story, maybe a couple personal stories, about navigating that gap between understanding someone's maybe completely divergent worldview from your own can really work. That gap between us and them. Now, I was born in Detroit, Michigan. Loved it. Loved everything about it. So my parents said, I was a kid, they picked me up and moved me out. I didn't appreciate it, but they bribed me. Got some new shoes, got a Scooby-Doo lunchbox, had a trapper keeper. I was ready, Jack. Went out to wait for the school bus. First day of school. And the school bus, I could hear it coming, noisy, everyone hollering, everyone yelling, screaming. I was excited. It stops. Get on in here. I go and walk up on the bus, and everything went silent. Because they hadn't heard that a black family had moved into the area. Go ahead and sit down. I went to try and sit down next to a tow-headed boy, and he spit in the seat. Kept walking, spit. Go ahead and sit down. Spit, go sit in it, sit in it, sit in it. Spit every single seat. I said sit down. They're hollering, they're yelling. You know what they're calling me. And I got to the very back of the bus, and there was a little girl who had her backpack. And I can't turn around, I can't turn around, I can't turn around. She moved it. And I sat. And we rode. We didn't say anything to each other. I couldn't speak to her. The next day on the bus, I got in, the hollering, the yelling, the screaming. I went right back to the back of the bus, and I sat down. Again, we didn't speak, and that's how it was. For months, until the middle of the year, they switched things up. And instead of being the last person on the bus, I was the first. This whole sea of seats, force of habit, I went right back where I came from. Sat down there. Understand, in rural Michigan, nobody's rich. But some of us are extremely poor. And when you are poor, farm family, in the middle of Michigan, living in a trailer home, in the wintertime, your pipes can freeze. And what that means is you don't have any water in the morning. Still have to do your chores. Still have to clean the barn, still have to clean out the chickens, whatever it is that you do. And when you're covered in that type of filth, you have one of two choices. Go to school just as you are, or spray on some cheap cologne. See if that'll help things out. And that day, Mary Jo chose the latter. When she got on the bus, it smelled like a slap across the face. It smelled like a skunk covered in old dead flowers. And the kids screamed, "Ugh!" And I saw her look back at me. I kept my my face straight ahead. I have had enough trouble. I just kept looking straight ahead. And when she was walking, please, 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 sit with someone else, please. And when she finally got to the back, I could hear everyone yelling, nasty, nasty, nasty. And she just waited. And I moved my backpack. And she sat down. And there was all that screaming and hollering. And for a while, I just felt like I didn't care. I needed to tell her I was sorry. And instead, I said, hey, my name's Glynn. I know your name. And everything just went away. All the screaming, spitting, yelling, hollering, it went away and it was just two little kids talking in the back of the bus. Now, it came up, I grew up. When I was 19 years old, I moved to Japan, which was another place, rural Japan, where they didn't have any black folk. When I was there, very first day, I went grocery shopping, right? And I didn't know what anything was. Just pulling stuff off the rack, and I was maybe the first African-American person that had seen that area, and everywhere I went, this group of older women followed me around. I didn't appreciate it. And finally, I went and got some crackers down, and this lady started screaming, "Mama! Mama!" And I'd had it. Crazy lady. Grabbed my stuff, went home. Tried to check out, threw the money I didn't even understand, and went home. And I'm at my place, putting these groceries away, and there's a knock on my door. And it's one of these crazy ladies from the store. "What you want?" She comes up in my house, goes in my kitchen, starts digging through my groceries. "Mama! Mama!" And I see she's taking out this bag, and it's got a picture of a dog on it. "Mama! Bow wow. Good looking out." I appreciate that. She stopped me from eating the dog food, and when she left and she came back the next day, and this time she had a little travel dictionary, and she told me that I had to learn the soul of Japan. What's that? Well, soul of Japan is tea. I don't know. I understand too. In Japan, you don't really touch. You don't touch people. But in this case, she said, I needed to come to her house, and I thought she was still a little bit off. But she grabbed me. She took me down the street to this beautiful home. She touched my clothes. Not me. She touched my clothes. And I had a feeling that if I did go over this threshold, that there was going to be trouble. But what did I go there for in the first place? So I took off my shoes, went to the house, and it was on. Every single day, she would go there and she would teach me of tea. I went to grab the tea and drink. Don't touch it. You have to hold it, the cups just right. You have to turn them just right. First you put in the leaves, then you smell, then you stir it just right. You turn it again. You say old, archaic, Japanese language. You turn it again. You finally hold it up, and at the end, maybe after you've done all that right, maybe then you can take a sip. And the stirring, the pour, the language, the bow, the stir again, the smell, and the sip. She taught me about, sometimes you have to get into position. My legs would burn. I want to scream. And when I would scream, she'd smack me upside the head for my trouble. learn. She taught me as well flower arranging. Said every single way is a path to the soul of Japan. And it got to the point where she wouldn't hit me as much after a while. In fact, one day, I went to a fair with her. She told me to sit down next to these older people. And they started pouring tea. And I did my little turn, my smell, my bow, my language, and I got up and went on about my business. I found out that they had put my name as a novice the first time in Roman letters in a book of Japanese tea masters. Thanks to her, I grew to love this lady. And after my year in Japan, it was about time for me to go home, and a cab pulled up and she came as well to say goodbye. And at this point, I had been as Japanese as I could be. I did everything she told me to do, but I'm from Michigan. And in Michigan, we hug. So I told her I appreciate it, and I'm gonna have to give her a great big old Michigan hug now. And she said, no. And she ran top speed down the street. But I'm stronger and faster. And I caught her and she screamed. And I screamed and she laughed. And we laughed together, and I told her how much I appreciated it. I told her how much I was gonna miss her, and I told her that I would never ever drink coffee. But I would always drink tea.